Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with
Nerdarchy Ted.
Join us as we try to divine the future of monster manuals.
Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with us.
So, this video, we want to talk about a new trend we see, and maybe there's other people doing it, but I've only seen one book do it so far, and then another just quickly followed suit. And surprisingly enough, some of the same people are involved in the second project.
So, and that's the future of monster manuals.
Yes.
Or potentially.
And I would like to see this trend continue. So, okay, the first one we saw was
Atlas Animalia.
Atlas Animalia. I always forget that when it's screwed
Metal
up.
Weave Games, and they've got this book that Kickstarter just went over not all that long ago. And it's an art book. It's something to throw on your coffee table and, yay, happy fun. But...
And maybe read about some monsters. But it's not a gamer book.
No, it's literally supposed to be a coffee table book, an art book. And it's a way that you can take, say, an owlbear or a blink dog, and we're going to give you different art and different information about them in different climates or different variations thereof.
Right, and there's a whole list of them. Matter of fact, Ted has a whole list right in front of us. There's there's maybe 20 different creatures that they're reworking,
and there's more besides what's on this list.
Right, and this would be super cool just by itself. But as a gamer, we're like, oh man, now we need stats for that.
Of course, because you got to have stats if you want to kill it.
Right, and and that creates a lot of work. So one of the interesting things they did was, one, I think it makes it cost effective, but also it still keeps it an art book. And that was, they were going to also give you a PDF of the stats for all the monsters in that book. Right. I actually love that idea.
I think it's amazing, and once they decided that we're going to give you the stats besides, I was on board. I'm like, yep, I want a copy of this.
Now, when we recently had Crystal Sully on the channel, she did a live chat. She actually launched her Kickstarter during our live chat. Halfway through, it was pretty awesome. She got halfway to her funded before the live chat even ended. So within 30 minutes, and later that day, she totally funded it. Now it's over 21,000, and I was like, hey, you should really consider doing like Atlas Animalius did. And it turns out she's actually working with
Metal Weave Games
with some things, some components. I don't know to what level, but I'm like, it'd be really cool if you did that, and you're working with people who already are doing it. So that's really cool. And so she did recently announce and just surpass that stretch goal as of this video. By now they might have blown past it. So honestly, I was on the fence. I probably wasn't going to get this book. But as soon as she announced that they were going to be doing stats, I'm like, now I really need to get the book.
Yep.
So I actually like this trend. I hope it keeps going. And in hers, she has things like the horned Draco Chameleon, which is kind of like freaking adorable. She has a Saber Wing, the Tomb Keeper.
And the Saber Wing was actually released with the Open Legend book. So it'd be interesting to see, okay, we've got the stats for Open Legend when that book comes out, as well as what it'll be like with the PDF for the 5th edition rules.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And the Stormbringer. And right now, I've got the list on my phone. Try to get some images in here. I'll talk to Crystal and see if that's a problem. I don't think it will be. So you guys can check that all out. But that Kickstarter is probably going on for another 2 weeks as of the time that I release this video. So you guys will still be able to get in on it and check it out.
Now, the concept of art book has been around for quite a while. I mean, I've got quite a handful. I've got the Discovery of Dragons, Graham Base, I believe you pronounce it, and I love dragons, as many gamers do. And you flip through these books and you're like, oh, this is really cool, but you see artwork on a variety of different types of creatures, and you're like, oh, well, that looks different than what I play in my game, so how would this be different? How would I make this? So imagine if you walked into any bookstore and grabbed an artwork, and you could turn to the back and be like, oh, well, go here and you can insert this code and download your copy to play in this game or to play in that game. I think that would make art books sell to gamers that much more readily.
And yeah, and it creates this like multi-function. For one, it's an art book. In the case of Untamed Beastry, that is actually like put together as like a field journal. So it's kind of like a story and walkthrough as well. I think Crystal plans on doing multiple of them, and like I think there's a teaser in there about that. She kind of hinted at. So that would be really cool, and that have this awesome piece of artwork that you can have sitting around on your table, and then as a gamer being like, oh well, I can now insert this right into my game, and not only that, right? You literally have this awesome picture to show your players, and there's no stats on it. Like it's just a cool monster, and I know in Untamed Beastry there's also like anatomical drawings and different things like that as well. So it sounds like it's going to be a fun thing all by itself, but now it becomes multifunctional. And like before, where I was like hemming and hawing and trying to pick and choose which Kickstarters I'm going to back, like that one, like the priority just went up. I'm like, oh, I need the thing. I want the stats.
Well, there's a lot of artwork books that are out there that kind of go through that field journal style. The Discovery of Dragons does, and there's all the ology books. Dragonology, Piratology. I think there might even be a Wizardology, but like there's even like inserts and things that you go through, and it's like, oh well, I discovered this, and here's that, and you could totally have that aspect.
You have a book inside your book.
Yes. It's just what these things are. So Tacking and Taming Dragons, a deluxe book and model set. So you could literally be like, oh well, I've got this thing. It sits on your bookshelf, and even if you're a closet gamer and you just happen to be into fantasy, like nobody needs to know that you've got the stats on your computer, so you don't have to worry about someone coming in like, oh dude, your shelf's full of gaming books, whatever.
Well, not only that too, like in the case of the Untamed Beastry, where it's put together as a field journal, like that becomes a gaming prop, right? You could literally use it as a prop in your game, in addition to using the monsters and the stats.
You could literally say, "This is treasure."
Yeah, you found this.
You found this. You literally hand it to the party, and they can look through because there's no actual mechanical information that's in it.
Right.
And that just becomes like, oh man, this is a piece of treasure. And okay, maybe there's something that hints at what mechanical advantages it might have or weaknesses it might have, but it's not listed in game terms. So I think that's just amazing.
So one of the things I want to circle back to the Animalis Atlas.
Atlas Animalia.
Yeah. I'm like dyslexic in reading, speech, everything. My brain works backwards. And go over like the monsters that they've got listed. And apparently there's going to be more. And they've got a lot listed here. Got Blink Dog, Basilisk, Bulle, Chimera or Chimera, Codal, however you say that, Fairy Dragon, Griffin, Hippocampus, Hippogriff, Hydra, Manicore, Myconid, Adiug, Owlbear, Phase Cat, Rust Monster, Sphinx, Trent, Unicorn, Wolverine, and I think there's going to be more as well. So there's a ton in that. Can't get in on that, but I'm sure that it's going to be for sale before too long.
Well, if you go to the Kickstarter page, there is a link to pre-order now. Wow. So you could I guess that falls into a late pledge. I don't know if you get the same purchase capabilities of the Kickstarter prices or whether it's a little bit more. I have no way of knowing. We definitely went in on it. We had Andres and Sarah on our live chat to talk about this and talk about some of the stuff that they've got going on. They were really cool guests as well.
Yeah, we also actually backed at a higher level so that we get a couple extra books, which we're probably going to give away. Right. I think that was the idea. So anyway, I'm in love with this idea. I like this concept. I don't know how other gamers would feel about it. Like maybe they don't like the idea, especially if you don't use electronics at your game and you don't have to print stuff out every time. But I think it's a fun, cool concept of merging your gaming world with your the rest of your world kind of deal, where you can, this is actually art that I put out, for people to enjoy, but then it's also my gaming stuff that I get to enjoy with my players or as a player. So the duality, the dual function, I really like that idea.
Well, I think having the book that can literally sit out as a work of art, and as someone who is really into fantasy, go figure, artwork is something that I'm going to appreciate, I'm going to enjoy, and I love seeing new creatures. I love seeing things that someone else has been inspired to get into. Atlas Animalia is purely just variants. There isn't anything this is a whole cloth new creature, but the stuff that I've seen is just amazing. An Arctic displacer beast, or phase cat, if you will. I love the picture of it. It looks like more like a saber tooth than just a regular panther. And to me, that's like, wow, that completely re-envisions the creature. And they've got variants for everything on that list based off of the different ideas that they've come up with. And I'm head over heels over it. And I haven't looked at too much of what's going on with Untamed Bestiary, but I know Crystal's artwork is amazing, so I'm totally ready to say, okay, well, let's see what we're gonna get there as well.
Yeah, the only thing with the Untamed Bestiary is I have a question. Like, so she's reusing some of the art she's done for companies that are allowing her to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there'll be a ton of original stuff as well. So I don't know if she'll be able to restat that stuff per se.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a gray area. But even with it, minus those, the other stuff that we're going to get is going to be really amazing. The only con I can even think about this is, okay, you don't have the stats in the book with the monsters, and you're going to keep them in a separate place. You maybe don't like electronics at your table. You don't want to print the monsters out to have them ready when you need them. But other than that, everything else seems like a pro to me. Cool art book. Awesome prop to put at your table, possibly. Whether it's, oh, you found this thing, or it's just opening up to the page and going, look, this is what you're facing. Be afraid, or whatever.
And I mean, that's the thing that D&D books completely lack. And we've said this, before, but the ability to literally hand it to your players without giving any mechanical advantage away is just gold.
Yeah, it's like in your face, Scott Garibay.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say here.
I know what to say here. What do you guys think? Would you like this kind of product? Do you want to see more products like that? Let's talk about that. We have a place for it in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.